I'm in a great mood tonight, and I'm just going to start off and I'm going to tell you, I threw out all my Mac Tonight merch, and I just feel better. You know, it was fun while it lasted, haha, I hate it, and then you send it to me, and then I show up. But the reality was it just put me in a bad mood. It did not spark joy. It sparked anxiety and terror, and so I threw it all in the garbage, and I just feel, I think you're going to see the difference today compared to last week, which is a little low energy. I think we solved the problem. Anyway, we're off and running. You guys, we referenced a post that Trump wrote on social media where he wrote the election was stolen, but he spelled it with two L's, Stalin. A lot of you you pointed out that Stalin, maybe he meant Stalin, which is sort of like a German Christmas fruitcake. You know, maybe he wasn't saying that the election was full of lies and inconsistency, but rather it was full of nuts, spices, dried candy fruits. Fair point? We shouldn't jump to conclusions. I acted out Rupert Murdoch telling someone to move to the left, but I gestured to the right. But that's actually not a mistake because in Australia, I referenced A Few Good Men. And in referencing it, I said the line, "You're goddamn right, I ordered the code red." The actual line is, "You're goddamn right, I did." Did I know that? And still take artistic license for the purpose of the joke?
Wait till they get a load of me.
When I said play the Nicholson clip, I just assumed you'd know I meant, "You're goddamn right, I did." You know what I mean? Did I know that and still take artistic license for the purpose of the joke? You're goddamn right, I did. Like, it just doesn't work with, like, any Nicholson clip. So I said, then play the Nicholson clip. And you read that email and you thought, okay. Find the Nicholson clip. I said if you ever run into a samurai, in last week's corrections, samurais were abolished in 1870, but you keep telling me cancel culture is not real. We talked about Trump has been workshopping nicknames for Ron DeSantis, and we mentioned Meatball Ron and how much we enjoyed Meatball Ron. And I said, why keep digging when you strike gold? Well, I've been told by some gold digging professionals, prospectors, 49ers, if you will, women of ill repute, that once you strike gold, the last thing you want to do is stop digging. Like, you want to dig more than you've ever dug before once you strike gold. So you don't just say eureka and run off. You know what? I'm almost 50. And I think I've come to terms with the fact that I'm never going to yell eureka. When you're a kid, you think it's going to happen. One day you're going to find a thing or come up with an idea. Going to scream eureka. I can't even imagine what that would be. Archimedes. BDSM, I guess I said it where I put too much emphasis on the D. Maybe that's just my favorite part. Think a guy who willingly submits himself to 75 episodes of corrections doesn't like a little D? We showed a Lego horse head in bed. This was in reference to how I get bullied by the Lego community, and that because I accidentally have said Legos in the past, by way of intimidation, they put a Lego horse head in my bed. Well, when you mention Lego, that community has a lot to say, and I'd love to read everything they wrote about our Lego horse head graphic, but I think based on the volume, it might just be easier to release it in 3 to 5 coffee table books. My favorite comment was, someone wrote, Lego horse heads don't detach. Yeah, neither do regular horse heads. That doesn't stop the mafia from doing it. I want you to put the Lego horse head in the Hollywood producer's bed. Only problem is, boss, they don't come off. And they sure as hell ain't gonna go back on. I just don't think you've thought it through, boss. Oh, so at the end of each closer look, what we'll do is we will call back a clip from earlier in the closer look as the final moment in the closer look. It's a device known in these parts as Sal's Gambit. And the end of a closer look this week, I said, Republican voters have a choice between a regular D who has tanked 2 elections or a tiny D, another new nickname Trump has for Ron DeSantis. I'm telling a lot of you this because I've started to realize I don't think a lot of you are watching the show. Or a tiny D that's not bigger than, we cut then to Donald Trump, who earlier in the body of a closer look had said in a clip 6 inches. So we said, or a tiny D that's not bigger than 6 inches. Well, the YouTube wires were clogged with complaints of what I'm gonna jump to a conclusion and say are gentlemen jackals who sent me many, like a lot of data, a lot of medical charts. 6 inches is average or above average. Sometimes you can just tell. It's not like it's in all caps, or you can just tell how fast it was typed. A human year being equivalent to 7 dog years is outdated. We've been told that science is outdated. According to the American Kennel Club, the correct answer when someone asks the age of your dog is, what the do you care? Do we have nothing better to talk about? 11. We had a photo of a magician. Someone wrote, correction, that's not how magic works, just loose cards in your sleeves. Well, correction for you, it's not magic. It's just tricks. That's not how magic works. Ooh, big mistake. This is one, this is where it's actually healthy and helpful that we're doing corrections. The bear in Cocaine Bear is a woman. I got that wrong. Maybe my favorite comment I've ever read in corrections. I can't believe you misgendered Cocaine Bear on International Women's Day. If that's how I go down, I apologize. A female bear is just as capable of going on a drug-filled rampage as a male bear and should be compensated the same. Cocaine Bear, though, because she was female, broke a 40-year-old Hollywood record, most cocaine done by an actress on screen formerly held by Michelle Pfeiffer in Scarface. 40 years. What a run. You don't tighten a gasket, you tighten the bolt or nut that holds the gasket. You also don't call Seth Meyers when you need a handyman. Did you try tightening the gasket? Get the Hey, the dog who played Eddie died before Frasier ended, which was for the best because he always said that if Niles and Daphne got together. The show would jump the shark. Eddie was played by Moose and was replaced on the show Frasier by his own son, Enzo. And to this day, a lot of suspicions surround. Like, where was Enzo? Hey, guys. Now is as good a time to remind you, that Corrections is twice Emmy nominated, and you just can't take that away, right? No matter how bad it gets, we get to say that forever. I've been told in both times, we've never won, but we have finished second both times, I've been told by trusted sources, someone I believe. Not gonna name names, he used to be a mayor of New York, hosted SNL, and he told me, finished twice. Hey, but you might not know this. We have to pick an episode to submit that Emmy voters, the way it works is we pick what we think is the best correction, we submit it, Emmy voters receive a link, the nominees are chosen, and then those links are sent to the voters at large, and then Carpool Karaoke wins. And so it's an interesting process. But there's a very crowdsourced piece of comedy, of content, you could say, content some weeks. And every now and then we peek our head into comedy. So we're gonna post, if we can, in Sea Captain polls, and we'll put Sea Captain polls down here. We would like your input. What is the best episode of Corrections in this Emmy window, which means it has to be episode 49 or later? We genuinely, obviously, there's still a lot more time to go, and I obviously would love to think that our best corrections are ahead of us. Obviously not today, but maybe next week. And so we're gonna post that and let us know which is your favorite one. Because again, sometimes you strike gold and keep digging with your jackals. And this was my favorite comment from a jackal this week. We had a joke about the people who sell bags, fake designer handbags, in Times Square, and they'll sometimes have a letter off. And we had a bit about an Hermes bag that was spelled with a P. So it would spell herpes, but they would say it's a Herpes bag. And someone said, you missed the joke, which was the tagline for Herpes bag would be, Herpes, you'll carry it with you forever. Not bad. Oh, a genuine correction. I was told hearing impaired is an outdated term. Deaf and hard of hearing are preferred. Apologies. Learning is what we did set out to do. And thank you for telling me that so politely. That is something I'm very sorry I got wrong. Oh, I was also, this is an interesting point. I don't know if it's true or not. We should keep an eye on it. Because we did, and I appreciate the speed of it, we now have numbered the episodes in Corrections. Someone said, by numbering our episodes, we might be punished by the YouTube algorithm. With that said, if you've never watched one of these and then it shows up in your feed one day, I would say that's an example of the algorithm punishing you. I said meth is, I forget, poor man's Ozempic, haha. But someone said, for years meth was prescribed for weight loss. In fact, amphetamines, obviously, were prescribed. The original Breaking Bad was about a chemistry teacher and his former student who developed a weight loss pill. Breaking fat. It's allowed. Weird Al did it. They did? What? I can't say we were nominated for 2 Emmys? They took it away? Oh, speaking of that YouTube playlist, because the first one is this week will be episode 75. So people were upset. They want the playlist to say episode 1 first, so they can click it, and then it will just autoplay to the next one, because now you have to go to the bottom and click 1, and then when it's over, you have to click 2. And we're going to consider making that change, because the last thing we want any of you to do is make the bare minimum of effort. Well, I felt good. Tonight felt great. Later, more fun. Like, I felt the change. I don't know if you guys felt the change, but for me, it's just like better now. And I feel like by getting rid of that stuff, the situation.
You're goddamn right I did!
No, that was wait till they get a load of me. I don't even, what?